Democratic gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker holds a press conference as he opines on the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in the Janus versus AFSCME case. This runs about 10 minutes.
Well, as if working families didn't have enough to worry about today, once again, Bruce Rauner has put them under attack. He has pushed this Janus decision. He's used the Supreme Court as his instrument to attack working families, to lower wages, to lower workplace safety for police officers, firefighters, teachers, nurses, state workers. That's what his administration has been all about for 3.5 years, taking away rights and lowering wages for middle class and working class families. It's a sad day for working people across the state of Illinois. He spent many years now doing things like failing to get a budget passed so that services that should be available to middle class families aren't. He, of course, has tried to destroy labor unions who are standing up for the middle class, and this is just one more example of the work that he's tried to do. He's proud of that work. I think working families recognize that he's a failed governor and he's got to go.
Given this decision, if you become governor, this just means that people don't have to join. There's no closed shops in the state or anywhere else, right?
Well, you know that from the beginning, Bruce Rauner has attempted to weaken collective bargaining rights for labor unions in Illinois and for working families, working people. And again, this is just one more piece of his puzzle. It's the Koch brothers right-wing network agenda at work.
What can or should or will you do as governor to combat this decision and help unions?
Well, we're going to have to work hard to figure out what's next, but I will say this, that if you elect me governor, that I'll stand up every day for working families. I'm going to wake up every day thinking about how do we make people's lives better, improve their wages, improve their benefits, and make sure that we're serving them.
What possibilities are there, that you're considering right now to combat this?
Again, it's unclear in the wake of the decision because there's some detail into the decision that we've got to go through, but let's say this, that people who are firefighters, police officers, teachers, state workers deserve to have a contract. Bruce Rauner has been unwilling to even sit down with state workers to come to an agreement about a contract. How about just having a governor who's willing to sit down and negotiate fairly?
Does this affect that this doesn't end collective bargaining? It just means the unions would have to sell themselves on the merits of joining the union. What's wrong with that argument?
Well, he's harmed working families because, look, when you weaken the ability of labor unions to collectively bargain, and he has weakened their ability to collectively bargain by doing this, he has, that was his goal in the first place. Lower the power of working families, lower the power of middle-class families across the state so that he can lower wages for them. He thinks that that's what's good for the people of Illinois, lowering wages for working-class people in Illinois. I think that's dead wrong. And once again, my job as governor will be to stand up for working families. It's time to put Springfield back on the side of working families.
The argument that this is about free speech, that it's not anti-union, it's not anti-worker, and that inherently what unions do is political at every level, including bargaining.
Well, collective bargaining is not political. It's just giving working people a fair chance to sit down across the table from management to get a fair wage.
He does say that he's negotiated with like 17 or 18 unions, and he did sit down like 67 times with AFSCME, even though there was no agreement reached.
No, if you sit down, fold your arms, don't listen, and don't talk, that's not negotiating.
Does this help him in the election?
Politically speaking, this is going to give many conservatives who may not like Bruce Rauner a reason to say, hey, he's okay, whereas AFSCME and a lot of unions already have decided by his rhetoric he's not okay. So doesn't this help him more than you politically in this election?
Look, Bruce Rauner is not okay for working families in Illinois. For 3.5 years, he's had them under attack. And, one day of getting what he would call getting something done, one day out of 3.5 years, and it's a terrible record. If this is what he's going to run on for the next 4 or 5 months, he's going to lose, and lose badly.
Conservatives who want for genie eyes, as Bernie says, this draws them to, your backers don't change their mind. A lot of conservatives out there are going to say Bruce Rauner's okay, and we're going to get behind him.
Look, most conservatives are working people. They're just middle-class folks who care deeply about the kitchen table issues that affect their families, about the affordability of health care, the affordability of college for their kids, about rising wages for them. That's what most people care about. It's what most conservatives, frankly, care about. So, yeah, they're going to be the outspoken ones who will stand with Bruce Rauner, but the vast majority of people in Illinois know this decision is bad for them.
Would you support legislation to ultimately allow for unions to not be forced to represent those who they don't want to be part of the union?
Look, there's a lot of discussion about whether there ought to be legislation or how to move forward on this, but the Supreme Court has ruled. It's the federal Supreme Court. So we've got to look at how we stand up for working families. I'm going to do everything that I can to do that, to make sure that they've got the collective bargaining rights that they deserve.
And can you justify that? Can you justify how wages are going to be decreased? You said multiple times that this is going to lead to wages being decreased, or benefits being decreased, or safety being an issue. Can you justify that?
Sure. When you lower the power of workers to sit at the bargaining table, and that's what he's done, to sit at the bargaining table and get a fair wage and get the kind of workplace safety that they deserve, you're hurting working families. That's what this is about. That's what he's been about since day one. That's the failure of Bruce Rauner. I want to take a question here because I know you.
I'm going to be reiterating what he was saying. Do you believe that that state workers that don't pay into unions should reap the benefits?
Well, remember, this is about working families across state reaping benefits, right? If someone's going to sit at the bargaining table on your behalf, there are costs to doing that. And so we just need to make sure that people are fairly represented. That's what this fight has been about. He doesn't want working people to be fairly represented.
All right, guys,
That's why he took this to the Supreme Court.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.